Hey Yetis, here we go. It is another school year. We are getting ready to start. First day of school in just a couple of days. So, figured I'd take a couple minutes, walk you through those first few days, things that you need to bring, things that you need to be aware of, what our schedule is going to look like, try to answer as many questions as I can for you here in this very first video update of the 21-22 school year. So, yeah, 2021. Let's talk about that for a minute because it's a special year for us. It's been a decade of Yetis, and that'll be our theme for orientation, our theme for the year through the decades. But a decade of Yetis, meaning that this school opened in 2011, and this is our 10th year, and so we're going to celebrate that momentous accomplishment, and it's been a fun ride, I tell you what. So I'll get rid of me here, and what can you expect in the first days of 2021? So my objectives really are just going to be sharing all this important information with you, especially what you can expect here the rest of this week, and I'll give you a preview of next week as well. All right, so school for students starts Wednesday. What we know is that early release is on Wednesdays, so just as a reminder, that Wednesday early release schedule will continue. So we are in school from 8:15 a.m. to 2:20 p.m. this Wednesday, and then all other days our schedule continues to be 8:15, 3:10 p.m. On Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. So as far as drop off and pickup, you remember last year it was kind of the conflict with the bus routes and things like that. So the school buses are going to be back in the bus loop over by Summit Middle School's, the other end of their building. So you may want to drop off in front of SMS. You are free to do so. That seems to be the easiest and most preferred method for our parents to drop off. You also can drop off in front of Snowy Peaks, and if you do that, you're going to want to drive around back of the building and come up to Snowy Peaks front door from that end. And then again, pickup. You are welcome to drive around the building and pick up in front of Snowy Peaks. You can also pick up in front of Summit Middle School, but our schedules will align and kind of overlap. And there will be one of the grade levels. I think it might be sixth and eighth grade, also going to be in the front of Summit Middle School picking up students. So, if you do choose to pick up in front of Summit Middle School, you might be competing with middle school traffic there as well. Just as a reminder, free school lunch continues this year. That's that waiver has been extended, so all students are eligible for free lunch. We still ask you to fill out the free and reduced lunch form because I know that there are some funding questions and reporting questions on those things that we need to make sure that we are doing accurately. And then, a lot of questions about when is my kid going to receive their schedule and what that's going to be. And we know that that's an important thing for our students. So they will receive that during orientation. And I would say within the next day or two, you're going to be able to see those up in Power School. But we won't be using those during orientation because orientation really is focused on building our community, building those relationships that make our school so special. So, okay. So we are so excited. This is going to be a return to quote normal mostly. All right. So all of those COVID new rules and new ways of doing things last year, they are almost all going to return to normal, with the exception that masks are required when we are indoors. So, other than that, all those COVID changes from last year are going to return to normal. Okay, so we're pretty excited. And what that really means, if we look at some of the specifics, no cohorting, no symptom screeners, there should be minimal quarantines. All of our classes are allowed to run. Students are allowed to share equipment. Students are allowed to share microwaves again. Visitors, parents, you're allowed in our buildings and so on. So basically, all the rules go back to a normal school year with the exception that we are going to wear masks whenever we are in the building. And we will be planning frequent mask breaks outside and doing a lot of activities outside while our weather is warm to ensure that we give students an opportunity to be without the masks. We're going to still try to achieve some social distancing. I think it's down to like 3 feet during lunch while eating, and extra precautions during activities like PE. And then, of course, we are going to continue safe and sanitary practices. We're going to continue hand washing. We're going to regularly clean surfaces, and have some deep cleaning practices in our school as well. Okay, so as we talked about, right, the school year always kicks off with an orientation. Our orientation theme this year is Yetis through the decades, and a decade of Yetis. And so you may be asking why? Why would we give up some instruction time to do orientation? And really, it comes down to this, right? According to a lot of research, what are the top two reasons that students will put forth their best effort? The first answer is my teacher cares about me. And the second is that they belong in the community. We know that those academic mindsets are vital for the success of our students. And so we hit pause and we take time to make sure that we build relationships and we build our community. And then the second point here is that at Snowy Peaks, we believe that we must first define and establish an effective culture before we begin instruction. There's a little adage that my dad, I remember him saying all the time, which was, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And we're going to make sure that we establish, again, our community and those relationships before we start instruction. So what is the point of orientation, and what's going to happen whenever they come in? Well, we know that our goal is to redefine the educational experience for our students. And during this time of orientation, we are going to define who we are, what we do, and how we make a difference. So what we're going to do is we'll teach students some lessons about those things in the morning, and then usually in the afternoon we do things expeditionary or experiential learning or team building activities in the afternoon. So we certainly believe that learning takes place in our classroom walls, but we also know that some of the best learning occurs outside of our classroom walls. So we may be going on hikes or other fun activities that we have planned for common team building and building our group. Okay, what do I need to bring to orientation? So the first is, bring that positive attitude. We are going to have a ton of fun. And so be ready to participate and be a positive presence. Second thing we want to make sure everybody has is a camp chair. So bring one if you have one. Please do not go out and buy an extra camp chair. That's probably not necessary. We have a number of them here. But if you have one, and especially you returning Yetis, if you have yours from last year, please bring it back. Okay, and we'll make sure we use them. We're going to be out on that baseball field for orientation whenever we're outside. So we'll be running lots of activities out there behind the middle school. Be better if we had some chairs. Okay, make sure that you have a notebook, a pen, or a pencil. Here it says no device needed. We may change that. You don't need a device on the first day, but we certainly may change that as we continue through orientation, because there will be some activities that will probably need a device. Please make sure that you have your mask, or mask plural. We'll have extras here if you need it. And then appropriate attire. If we're going to be outside, you may want a hat. Do make sure that you have comfy shoes, layers, because we may be outside in the morning when it's still a little chilly. We will have sunscreen on hand, but if you want to bring your own, if you don't want to share sunscreen, you can bring it. And then we always suggest that students have a water bottle. And then, of course, if you want your own lunch, you can bring your own lunch. As we talked about earlier, though, free school lunch this year for all students. All right, a daily overview of orientation. We'll get into more daily specifics, but really what it is that we want our students to arrive between 7:50 and 8:15. At 8:15, we will serve breakfast, whether it be school breakfast. On the first day, we will be serving a pancake breakfast to all of our students. We do know some students have some dietary restrictions, so feel free to reach out if you want us to, provide something in addition, as an alternative to the pancakes on our first day. Our activities for school that day will be held either out at the baseball field behind the middle school, or here in the building, or right outside of the building at Snowy Peaks. Lunch we will obviously be breaking for lunch. Students will have an opportunity to grab lunch at the cafeteria if they so wish. We may provide some lunch on certain days, and we'll let you know when that's going to happen. And then typically after lunch in the afternoons, we have some experiential learning activities. End of the day, students are dismissed at 3:10. Okay, so here's kind of it broken down by day. So that first day on Wednesday, all right, we're going to be doing our orientation welcome. We focus on our touchstone of community. We will have a pancake breakfast. We'll be doing tons of team building activities, getting to know each other, getting to know our students. And remember, because it's a Wednesday, that is the only day that we're going to have dismissal at 2:20. Then on Thursday, kind of follows that same orientation activities in the morning, and then we'll have some form of activity. It looks like we'll probably have a picnic lunch on Thursday, and then there's talk of us doing a short hike up to the Old Dillon Reservoir up there off of the Dam Road. And so then dismissal on Thursday will be at 3:10. On Friday, we'll have our first experiential learning big one going. So our high school will be going to A-Basin for the aerial adventure park on Friday. Our junior high will be doing team building activities here at school. And then as you'll see next week, on Wednesday, our junior high right here, our junior high is going to have that opportunity to go to team building at A-Basin. So we're just going to make sure that we send smaller groups than we did last year, because it was a pretty long day for kids to have to wait to get onto the course. Okay. And then, going backwards here, Monday and Tuesday, that's where students will have their schedules. We'll be actually working in our classrooms. We may still be doing some orientation activities, introduction to their classes, talking about classroom rules, syllabi, things like that. And then in the afternoon, we'll still continue to do some experiential learning. All right. So experiential learning activities that we've done on those days in the past, things like going to the Frisco Adventure Park, going on a hike, maybe up Mount Royal, and a couple different things. We want to see the weather before we say definitively what we're going to be doing on next Monday and Tuesday. And then here you see on Wednesday, I already went over this. The high school will be doing team building activities around the school. Junior high will be going to A-Basin. For that field trip, we're going to try to cover actually more than half of the cost, but we are going to ask for our parents to help out with the cost of that trip. And we'll send out actually a Google form asking you, hey, I'm good, I can pay it right up front. Hey, I'd like a payment plan. We can set something like that up for you. Or hey, this is really going to be out of my reach. I really need a scholarship. And then we'll also include an opportunity if you would like to scholarship another student. If you are in a place financially that you can do that, you'll have the opportunity to do that as well. All right. And then you'll see on Thursday, September 3rd, orientation will be over and we will be rocking our classes starting. I said September 3rd. Sorry. It should say August 26th. Oh, big typo. That's what I get for reusing slides from last year. Sorry about that. All right, so we are so excited to have our students back. We are so excited to have a new batch of students. We are so excited to see all the Yetis who have been with us continue their progress, and we're excited to see the class of 2022 walk across that stage in just, it's going to go fast, a few months. So what we know is it all starts with building the right culture. It all starts with building the right community, and orientation is vital to the success of our community. And that's why it is required. Okay, so please remember, orientation is required. Even if your Yeti has been through it before, we ask that they're here because we're building that community with a new group of people, and it's very important for us. So we cannot wait to meet our newest Yetis. We can't wait to reconnect with our prior students, and we will see you soon. Just a couple last points that you may be asking about. And I figure I would just, rather than make this video very long, stay tuned. I will be making a separate video update that's going to explain some new bell schedule stuff, new experiential learning structures. We have a new What I Need. It's an acronym. And we call it WIN period, and that's our intervention and extension structures. And we'll have some new protocols for that. CMC classes are currently registering, so if you have not yet, contact Miss Jen if that's something that you want to sign up for. And then, yes, even if you get your schedule, if you see your schedule and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to change that class, or hey, I'm a new student to Snowy Peaks and they must have thought I was in Algebra 1 when I'm actually in geometry, things like that. There will be opportunities for feedback and schedule changes. Okay, Yetis, that's all I have. I know this was one of my longer videos. I apologize, but a lot of important information to get us kicked off here at the beginning of the year. We are so excited for this school year. So excited to celebrate with you all the amazingness that is Snowy Peaks. As always, if I can do anything to make this experience better for you, your family, your child, or in any way, please, we welcome the feedback. There's my cell phone, there's my email, and reach out if you need anything. As always, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Talk to you soon.